Igniting curiosity across depots, command centers, and beyond. Welcome to your weekly Depot AI Brief, where emerging AI meets mission-ready insights.
It is great to be back. And, looking at the wire this week, we're not just talking about simple software updates. This feels like a fundamental shift in how the Army is doing business.
It really does. Welcome to Episode 6, AI Modernization and Predictive Logistics. We have got such a heavy stack today, so we're going to structure this a little differently. We're going to break down exactly how these AI updates impact our four core roles, from the shop floor all the way to the executive suite.
And that structure is so important because a lot of the time when we talk about AI, it just feels like this, this big nebulous cloud.
Right.
But the reality is the tools and the mission, they look very different depending on whether you're holding a wrench or holding a budget meeting.
Exactly. So we're going to filter the signal from the noise for the Artisan, the Analyst, the Supervisor, and the Executive. And we'll connect all these updates to the big four authorized tools. That's GenAI.mil, Ask Sage, Army Vantage, and Copilot.
And then at the end, we'll hit the industry radar.
Of course. We'll wrap up with the key highlights and insights on the commercial tools that are flashing on our industry radar.
The goal here is pretty simple, really. It's about bridging that gap between the technical innovation happening at places like Aberdeen and the daily reality of the OIB.
So let's get right into it. Let's start where the rubber meets the road, or I guess where the rotor meets the mast. Segment 1, the Artisan.
The mechanic, the inspector, safety personnel, the people who are actually keeping the fleet flying and rolling.
Okay, so there was some major movement this week, specifically around the AI-assisted maintenance concepts that were showcased at the APG Innovation Showcase on February 2nd. But I have to ask, we've heard about digital twins and smart hangars for years now. What was different this time?
The difference is all about friction reduction. I mean, in the past, a lot of this tech actually added a step for the mechanic.
Oh yeah, I know the drill.
You know it. Stop working, wipe your hands, walk to the terminal, log this, walk back. It breaks your flow. What they showcased with concepts like AI Flow at Aberdeen is all about removing that barrier.
Give me a concrete example. What does that actually look like on the floor?
Okay, imagine a tool that uses computer vision. A mechanic is looking at a hub assembly. Instead of having to wipe their hands to type part numbers into a laptop or, endlessly scroll through a PDF to find one little washer or bolt, the system recognizes the part visually and just overlays the torque spec right there.
That's the Iron Man view everyone dreams about.
Essentially, yes. It's about tools that draft the maintenance notes for you automatically, so the artisan isn't stuck trying to type with greasy fingers.
Yeah.
But let's be real.
Okay.
We aren't issuing holographic glasses to every mechanic at CCAD tomorrow.
Right. So what's the immediate application? If I'm a mechanic working today, how do I actually use this? I can't sign an $87 million contract, but I have tools I can access right now.
Exactly. The immediate application, the thing you can do today, is using authorized tools like GenAI.mil to ask the manual.
I love this use case. Walk us through it.
Okay, so think about the reality of the floor. You have a complex technical manual, right? It's hundreds of pages. You need one specific torque spec or a procedure for a component you maybe haven't touched in 6 months.
Right. And Control F is not your friend.
It is not your friend. It pulls up 500 hits for the word nut. So instead, you upload that non-CUI manual into GenAI.mil.
And you just ask it like a person.
You just ask, what's the torque spec for the main rotor hub retention nut on the Delta model? And boom, it retrieves it. It summarizes the specific steps. It even cites the page number. It's about faster troubleshooting, reducing those repeats where you have to go back and double check. It just tightens the whole execution loop.
That sounds fantastic in a lab. But here's the reality check. A hangar is basically a Faraday cage. It's a giant metal box full of metal aircraft. Wi-Fi signals go there to die. So if these tools are cloud-based, isn't that a showstopper?
That is the single biggest bottleneck. And that right there is why the contract announcement from February 4th is actually the most important story for the Artisan, even if it sounds boring.
Okay.
The Army awarded Persistent Systems an $87.5 million contract to support the NGC-2 prototype.
This is huge. And I know hearing about an infrastructure contract might sound dry to a mechanic, but let's unpack why it matters. It's all about the edge.
Right. So NGC-2 stands for Next Generation Command and Control. But the key here is the persistent systems part. They specialize in something called MANET.
Break that down. MANET.
M-A-N-E-T. It's a mobile ad hoc network. Traditional Wi-Fi, needs a router connected to a wall if you're too far away or behind a tail boom. You get no signal.
Nothing.
MANET lets the devices themselves, the radios, the tablets, the sensors, act as the network. Device A talks to device B, which talks to device C. It creates a mesh.
So the signal literally hops across the hangar.
Exactly. It punches right through the noise. This contract is about hardening that data transport. It means the network follows the mechanic, not the other way around. It reduces the lag between what's happening on the floor and what the planners see upstairs.
So for the artisan, the takeaway is twofold. Start playing with GenAI.mil to query your manuals now, and know that the connectivity to make that seamless right at the point of repair.
Well, that road is being paved as we speak.
Precisely. The lag is about to shrink.
All right, let's move up the data stream. Segment 2, the analyst. Our strategists, data scientists, logistics planners.
The folks who live in spreadsheets and databases.
Hopefully fewer spreadsheets after this. The big headline here dropped on February 5th. There's a new Army software capability, and it's linked to that NGC2 ecosystem we just mentioned. It predicts ammo and fuel needs based on enemy behavior.
This is a fundamental change in how we think about logistics. I mean, traditionally, logistics is reactive. We used X amount of fuel last week, so let's order X amount more. It just assumes the future looks exactly like the past. But combat isn't linear, and neither is the supply chain at AMCOM.
Exactly. This new capability is predictive. It actually ingests intel data. It looks at how the enemy might fight. If the enemy creates a denial of area zone in a mountainous region, for example, our flight profiles change. We might fly lower, faster, burn more fuel.
And stress the airframes differently.
Right, because of high G maneuvers. It's moving from what happened to what will happen because of how we have to fight.
It's moving from what broke to what is about to break.
That's the holy grail.
Okay, that's high-level strategy. Let's bring it down to the analyst sitting in a cubicle at the depot today. They're not looking at enemy troop movements, but they are looking at huge data sets. What's the so what for them?
The so what is the death of the syntax error.
I think I just heard a cheer from every data team listening to this.
I'm serious. On February 3rd, the CDAO, that's the Chief Digital and Artificial Intelligence Office, they announced they're investing heavily in machine translation and coding assistance. If you're an analyst, just think about how much time you spend debugging SQL queries.
Oh, you miss one semicolon and your whole afternoon is just gone.
Exactly. This is where Ask Sage or GenAI.mil just shines. You don't write the code anymore. You write the intent. You just describe the data you need to the AI. Write me a SQL query to find all parts with a lead time over 90 days that show a 20% spike in demand.
And it just writes the syntax.
It does the heavy lifting. It even comments the code, explains what it did.
Yeah.
Your job shifts from being a code writer to being a data interpreter. You spend your time looking for the anomalies in the supply chain before they become shortages on the floor.
And what about that translation piece you mentioned?
That's crucial for the OIB. I mean, we deal with global supply chains. Sometimes the spec sheet for a specialized tool or component comes from a German or French vendor.
And historically, that's a week-long delay just to get a translation.
Right. Now, you run that PDF through the CDAO authorized translation pathway using GenAI.mil. It's instant. You're unblocking the supply chain in minutes, not days.
So the analyst becomes a translator and a coder without needing a degree in French or Python. And that connects directly back to that predictive logistics news. You're using the big four tools to build that predictive picture yourself.
Right. You are aligning your personal workflow with where the entire Army enterprise is going.
Which is a perfect segue to the people who manage all these workflows. Segment 3, the supervisor, the team leads, the shift bosses, HR.
The people caught in the middle. They're squeezed between the mission requirements and the administrative burden.
The ones drowning in red tape. But there is hope. On February 3rd, we saw news about a strategic IT team that's increasing efficiency in the contracting process with workflow automation.
Now, contracting process might sound bureaucratic, but the technology underneath it is exactly what a supervisor needs. It's all about template-driven, repeatable workflows.
And we're seeing this paired with the rapid adoption of GenAI.mil, which was reported on February 2nd. I mean, it is spreading like wildfire for drafting summaries and reports.
Because it solves the biggest pain point for a supervisor. That end-of-shift fatigue.
Let's paint the picture. You're a shift lead at CCAT. It's the end of a 12-hour shift. Everyone is tired. You still have to write the shift log, the incident reports, the handover notes for the next crew.
And that's usually where things get missed. You're tired, you rush it, you scribble a few notes, check the thing on the thing. That's where safety incidents can happen in the handover.
So what's this so what here?
It's using tools like Copilot or GenAI.mil to draft those summaries instantly. You just feed it the raw bullet points of what happened.
So just the facts.
Just the facts, the messy, unformatted stuff. Crew A finished the inspection. Crew B is held up on parts. We had one safety near miss in day 4. Then you tell the AI, draft a professional shift summary from these notes. Highlight safety risks in bold. And bam, done.
That is massive. It turns a 20-minute struggle into a 30-second review.
And because it's standardized, the incoming shift isn't trying to decipher your handwriting. They're reading a structured report. And if you look at that strategic IT news automating workflows, think about your rostering, your recurring approvals. The Army is validating that model.
So supervisors should be looking at how to apply that model to their own shop. It's about reducing that admin load so you can actually focus on your team and on safety.
And remember that connectivity piece from the Artisan segment. Better networked reporting means those shift logs aren't just files on a drive. They feed into near real-time status boards. So the morning shift knows exactly what the night shift did, reducing the unknowns.
Less red tape, more readiness. I like it. Now let's go to the top. Segment 4, the executive, command leadership.
The view from 30,000 feet.
The news here is strategic. On February 4th, it was announced that the Army plans for a division to receive the NGC2 production ecosystem in FY27.
That is a critical date. FY27, fiscal year 2027. That sets the clock. This isn't just an experiment or a pilot anymore. This is a programmed capability with a firm timeline.
But we also have to talk about the constraints. On that same day, February 4th, there were reports that lawmakers have capped the funding for NGC2.
Right. And as leaders, you have to look at this neutrally. It's just a constraint in the system, like gravity or the weather. It will affect rollout speed. It might affect the scope of integration.
So does that mean a leader should just wait and see?
Absolutely not. That's the trap. The funding cap affects the scale, not the direction. The Army is moving to data-centric command. That ship has sailed. For a leader, it means you have to be realistic about what's coming and when, but you cannot pause your preparations.
And there was one more piece of news on February 6th that I found really interesting. It was about infrastructure. The Army is looking to lease land for new commercial data centers.
This is the infrastructure piece of the puzzle.
Hmm.
We talk about software and AI, but at the end of the day, compute is a physical resource. It lives in a rack, in a building that needs power and cooling.
So why does the Army need commercial land for that? Don't we have bases?
We do, but we need massive amounts of compute power, and we need it close to the point of need to reduce latency. This really signals that the Army gets it. The cloud isn't magic. It's physical servers in a physical location.
So for the executive, what's the actionable insight here?
It's understanding the roadmap. You have the infrastructure, those new data centers. You have the software, that NGC2 ecosystem, and you have the timeline, FY27.
So you need to be preparing your organization for that now.
Exactly. And the authorized solution for keeping track of all of this, Army Vantage.
Vantage is the dashboard.
Vantage gives you that high-level readiness view. It lets you track the ROI on your current initiatives. If you are a commander, you should be asking your team, how does our local innovation align with that FY27 roadmap? You don't want to build a custom solution today that's just going to be obsolete when the enterprise solution arrives in 2 years.
That is such a crucial point. Don't build a bridge to nowhere.
Exactly. Use Vantage to see the data, understand the constraints, and plan your modernization so it slots right into that NGC2 future.
So we've covered the authorized world, the tools you can and should be using today on the network. But now, it's time to shift gears.
Time to step into the lab.
It's time for the industry radar.
Okay, before we dive in, we have to say it.
Mandatory disclaimer. These are home lab or industry awareness tools only. They are not currently authorized for CUI or depot networks. Do not go pasting FOUO data into these things. You will lose your clearance, and we will not bail you out.
Please don't. But we need to know what they are because they show us exactly where this technology is heading.
And where it's heading, it seems, is agents.
That is the word of the week. On February 5th, OpenAI launched Frontier, which is a platform specifically for AI agents. We also saw announcements about GPT 5.3 codecs.
Okay, help us cut through the hype. What's the real difference between a chatbot, which we're all used to now, and an agent?
Think of it like this. A chatbot is a consultant. You ask it a question, it gives you advice. An agent is an employee. You give it a task, and it goes and does it.
Give me the pizza analogy.
Okay, a chatbot. You asked, how do I make a pizza? It gives you a recipe. An agent. You say, order me a pepperoni pizza to arrive at 6 p.m. And the agent goes and opens the app, navigates the menu, selects the toppings, enters your credit card info, and hits submit.
That is a massive leap in capability.
It is. And we
Yeah.
saw updates from competitors, too. Claude Opus 4.6 is boasting larger context windows, so better memory. And Gemini has new tools on mobile. But the trend is clear. Agentic AI.
Tools that can execute long-running tasks. I can see the application for logistics immediately. Agent, rebalance the inventory for the H60 fleet.
Check the inventory, cross-reference it with the flight schedule, identify any shortages, draft the purchase orders, and then email them to me for final approval. And it just goes and does it.
That is incredible, but also I can see why the cybersecurity folks might get a little nervous.
Oh, absolutely. That's why this is strictly industry radar. If an AI can click buttons for you, it can also click the wrong buttons. Or it could be tricked into ordering 10,000 units instead of just 10. The security architecture to contain an agent inside a military network is incredibly complex.
But this is the future. While it's not in the OIB yet, this is what we need to be preparing for mentally. The tech is moving from just answering questions to doing work.
We need to be ready to manage digital workers right alongside our human ones. That's the next frontier.
It's exciting and a little terrifying, but mostly exciting.
That's the nature of innovation. It always pushes the boundary of comfort.
So bringing it all back home, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. We started with a mechanic at APG, needing that better connectivity to leverage AI for parts ID.
We moved to the analyst, who's becoming a code wizard to predict fuel needs based on enemy tactics.
We looked at the supervisor, who's drowning in admin, using automation to finally surface for air.
And we finished with the commanders, who are looking at that FY27 horizon and the infrastructure needed to support it all.
And the common thread, the thing that ties the mechanic to the general, is readiness.
It's not about using AI just because it's cool. It's about increasing the velocity of the OIB.
Whether it's predictive logistics, preventing a shortage, or just automating a shift log so a supervisor can get home on time, the goal is to make the entire machine work better. Every single one of these tools buys us time. And in our business, time equals options.
Absolutely. It's about using the tools we have, GenAI.mil, Ask Sage, Vantage, Copilot, to solve real problems today while keeping a close eye on where the Army is going tomorrow.
Start small, iterate, and always keep the mission first.
Thanks for joining us. Whether you're turning wrenches in the hangars or crunching numbers for the command team, you are the engine that keeps Army aviation ready. Stay safe, stay innovative, and we'll see you on the next Depot AI Brief.